Dancing and singing keeps their hopes alive. Joseph Kanani lives on what appears to be an island, living as a squatter surrounded by farms that do not belong to him. He and his extended family are Batwa people, a tiny indigenous minority in Burundi. Living in poor conditions in a village north of Burundi's capital, Bujumbura, Kanani says his family once owned land extending to the foothills, but all that is gone.
We do not have land. In the past, we have had no representation in government, and anyone could come and build right in the middle of our land. The public would treat us like dogs that cannot bite.
Access to land in this Central African country is a key to self-sufficiency and is seen as a source of power. The tiny Central African country was traditionally a kingdom. The two main Bantu communities, the Hutus and Tutsis, were the dominant groups and remain so today. The Batwa were once dependent on the now depleted Central African rainforest, but today most work as casual laborers. The Batwa community, 1% of the Burundi population, served in the former kingdom as servants. The perception of them as servants continues to dominate their lives. Authorities in Burundi acknowledge the age-old discrimination.
For a long time, other ethnic groups in Burundi alienated them. In French, it's called discrimination. They were not allowed to enter people's homes. They were seen to be backward, of no value and no future. Things have changed, people visit them, but the only obstacle is that there is no intermarriage with them. Even now, it cannot happen.
Unrecorded births and no legal status, the Batwa have no access to public services.
If I go to the doctor, they ask for our grandparents' identity cards so they can treat the child.
The community also faces stigmatization and stereotypes from the country's other communities. Vital Babanze, a former indigenous fellow of the United Nations Human Rights Office, now heads a non-governmental organization that promotes the rights of Batwa people. He says it is lack of education that hampers integration and the success of the community.
We realized that there are some Batwa who are suffering from living to lands of others and being exploited, working as slaves for those peoples. And we would like to try to buy some lands for those Batwa who are being used as slaves.
With no land to cultivate, Kanani fends for his young family of 3 children by making bricks, earning 45 US cents a day, barely enough for a day's meal. The illiteracy levels among the community is attributed to a high rate of school dropouts. Most of the Batwa are illiterate. Staying at school for most Batwa children is just not possible.
Our children, we send them to school, but they do not complete 1 or 2 years. They drop out because of hunger. This is what harms us so much.
But Desire Nanduri is fighting the odds. He has been scaling the hilly Burundi countryside for the past 10 years to secure a better life. The 19-year-old junior high school student walks for an hour to and from school daily.
I am a representative of the youth. I try to encourage other Batwa children to go on with school. And if God helps me to continue with my studies, I will be able to help my community.
Most Batwa women are potters, maintaining a long-standing community tradition to make a living. But now they send their children to school to learn how to survive in a changing world. In an effort at integration, the government has set aside 3 seats in the Senate and 3 seats in the National Assembly for members of the Batwa community. Liberet Nkaezi is the Batwa's heroine. As the first woman member of parliament from the community, she not only represents Batwa in the National Assembly, but also serves as a mentor.
We have this role, the responsibility to make the Batwa community aware of their rights, that can give them the access to social integration and to progress like others.
The Batwa community may be small in Burundi, but it extends through the borders to neighboring countries, and their problems of marginalization are repeated in neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda.
The International Conference on the Great Lakes to address regional human rights concerns. So in the case of the Batwa, what we do is we create a fora for them so that they come together, strategize together, learn together about their rights, and then We provide them space and opportunities also that they lobby with their respective governments and their communities.
The United Nations Human Rights Office in Burundi and the government are cooperating to educate the community on their rights. A mass wedding organized by Kanyosha local authority north of Bujumbura early September attracted 50 couples from the Batwa in a mass wedding. Vincent Nyaburundi and Apolloni were not only celebrating their union, tying the knot after years of living together as husband and wife, but the marriage ceremony is a turning point, giving them and their children legal status.
I am very, very happy to be married. Now we are recognized by the government of Burundi, and our children will also benefit in education and many other things.
It may take generations to change the living conditions of the Batwa, to transform mindsets and stereotypes that place them at the bottom of society. But legalizing Batwa marriages opens up access to public social services, and this is enough to celebrate, at least for now.